Hello, friends. That's right, we're back. 2 days in a row. It is a beautiful day outside. I'm here editing a video, so I'm feeling a little bit jelly, if you know what I mean. That's right, in the pots today, feeling jelly. Beautiful colorway with some brilliant blues, a little bit of white, some nice dark rich blues. If you haven't seen the inspiration for this one, go check it out. Or wait till the end, we'll do our big reveal. So we've got 5 fingering weight in the pot here. This is what I would consider just a normal dye for us. We're not doing any ridges, no valleys. It's not a high immersion. We just got one little cup of soak in there. Soak consists of a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water. It's what we use to soak the yarn in overnight. Drops that pH and allows us to get these beautiful colors into the pots. So, up first we've got this nice, rich, dark blue that we kind of toss off to the one side here on the right. And then upside that, we're going to throw quite a bit lighter, actually. There's no darkness to it. This is like a sky blue, and we didn't go really heavy on it. We just kind of wanted to, I wouldn't say a pastel, but we just kept it nice and light. So we got that nice dark blue kind of fading into this light blue, and you can see it does travel. It travels quite a bit. So we get that dye exhausting into the white. Doesn't completely take over, but it definitely leaves its mark. And that's exactly what we're after on this one. Nice and easy. We're going to cook this off, give it a good little while in the pots, flip it over. And let's get some more dye in here. So this dye is not completely exhausted, but it's pretty darn close. We're not going to have a whole lot left over. You can see underneath the skein as we pick them up. Most of that liquid is clear, and it needs to be that way to make sure that that white stays on that one side. If we don't cook it long enough, what you're going to end up having is a lot of running, and then when you put that skein back down into the water, that white's just going to disappear on you. So again, across the top, we're going to go with that nice bright blue. It's kind of the same as what we put onto the middle of the other side, but this one is full strength. No darkness added to it, just like a sky blue. I absolutely love how the dye kind of fades across the yarn there. It's kind of cool. Across the bottom, we've got a nice light color, just like we did on the middle of the other side. Kind of like a baby blue. And then a cross between the two. Not too dark, not too light. Get your fingers in there, get it mixed up. Let's make sure that dye is pushed down into the skein. We want to make sure that we're dyeing at the very least 51% of this yarn. We don't want any white spots that aren't supposed to be white spots. Cook it off for a good long while. And it's time to twist it up. So we've got that little bit of white in there, and then you can see how we kind of fade in and out of that dark blue. It's a wonderful colorway. You know, it doesn't have that super dark contrast that jumps. It kind of fades in and out of that color. It's beautiful. So that was our fingering weight base. Up next, we're going to do our DK weight base. I find the DK sucks up the dye just a little bit faster, so it doesn't travel quite as far, which means on that DK weight base, we generally see a little bit more white. This one's not so bad though. It really came off quite nice. Like I say in every video, make sure you tuck those ends in. It really cleans these skeins up. Makes them pretty. It just transforms it into a whole new experience. You know, leaving those ends out, it feels messy, and I know it doesn't matter. It's just a tie, but I don't know. I feel like it's a lot cleaner and a lot more crisp, if you will. So on this one here, we want to push that white to the center. I want to highlight a bit of that white with a bit of that dark blue, and just kind of make sure that the focal point of this skein is at that bottom, right? And so we're trying to pull all those colors together. So when you look at this, you're like, okay, We've got the white, we got the light blue, we got the dark blue, we got the bright blue, and try and push all of that into the bottom of that skein, because that seems to be the focal point, at least for me. Maybe not for you, but finally, we got our chunky weight base. We're going to throw these in the light box. Make sure that we can see them side by side, but the worsted weight and the chunky weights, they really seem to hold their dye quite well, and it always seems to be a little bit more brilliant than the DK weight. Our fingering weight, depending on the colorway, is a bit more, I'm not going to say muted, but the colors all combine a little bit more. It's almost like the dye travels a little bit further. So this here is that fingering weight. Kind of see how we got all those different blues playing so well together. Up beside that, we're going to throw our DK weight. And we can see we got a little bit more white than our fingering weight. Like I said, the DK seems to suck up that dye just a little bit faster. So it doesn't seem to travel as far across the skein. Up next, oh, we got our chunky weight. Beautiful. A little bit more brilliant. It's definitely got lots of white in it. But it just seems to show that bright blue a little bit more than the other two. That baby blue still in there, but that bright blue is really popping. And finally, we got our worsted weight. Lots of white in this one too. I love it. Really pulled that white together. I'm quite happy to see that it showed up on the other three bases. The fingering weight a little bit more mixed. Still got that pop of white, but the other three bases held it together quite well. So into the swatch, the Adi Express. You can see we actually dropped a stitch here accidentally. So that's what that little bulge is. If you were making something, you would want to stop and start again. But we're just doing a swatch, so we can kind of hide that in behind and really get a good feel for what's going on here. You can see these blues are pulling together quite well. I'm not seeing a lot of striping going on with the color, not a lot of pooling, but it's really coming together quite well. Time to cake it up. We're going to cake up our fingering weight, of course. I liked yesterday's video so much, seeing that fingering cake was nice and crisp and everything was beautiful. Didn't have to cake it a second time or anything like that. It just turned out right the first time. So on this side, we've got our 4 strands. We've got the start and the end of the hank, as well as a tie. And on the other side here, we've got just the tie. Sometimes you got to give it a little pull just to get it out of there. It does tangle up a little bit, but you just pull it in the middle and it seems to pop out really nice. So what we're going to do with the ends here, we need to find out which one's on the front and which one's on the back. It looks like this one's kind of tucked in behind here. So we're just going to pull it through and toss it up over top. Make sure it doesn't tangle up on anything. And this one seems to be on the front of the hank, so that's the one we're going to use to cake up. Figured we'd try from a different angle today. Really get a good view of not only the swift spinning around, and you kind of get a feel for those colors in across the full hank, but also get to see the cake being made in the background here. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch the whole video. We'll skip forward here in a couple seconds. I just want you to see this spinning on the swift and see how that color variation's coming across. So basically we're going from white to light to, let's say normal to dark, and then back, right? So from that dark to normal to light to white. And it's kind of a cool play, especially when you start seeing it done up in projects. This is one of our older colorways. It's not ancient by any way, shape, or form, but I'm sure there's some projects out there that have been done with Feelin jelly. Look at that cake. Yes. Good saturation all the way through. We're not seeing any light spots in the center of the hank. Looks like we got saturation through and through. That's the best part of seeing one of these cakes, seeing a colorway, knowing that it was dyed right. We've got some beautiful colors playing around here. Everything just seems to be playing so well. So very well. I actually think this one's going to hit it up quite nicely with our electric blue, our new semi-solid. But before we get to that, let's do some of the variegated pairings. So up first, we've got Feelin Jelly. And then up beside that, we've got Symphony of Night. This is one of our new colorways. Kind of leading out of those blues a little bit more into the blue grays. And then up beside that one, Adventure Awaits. So we're kind of pulling over into the teals with a little bit of black speckling. Up next to that, I'm Turtley Fine. So we got more of that bright blue, kind of pushing into the blacks. I'm Turtley Fine actually pairs up really nice with our Midnight as well as our electric blue. Up beside that, we've got Winter Wonderland. This is probably one of my favorite blues. It's been around for quite a while. Not only do we have black speckling in there, but we got some navy blue speckling. Really kind of pulls it all together here. And finally, Silent Night. So we've got some chestnut sprinkles in there, and those sprinkles like to pick and play into some yellows, some reds, some oranges, obviously some chestnut. And we've got some of that dark blue kind of fading out into a teal with a touch of gray. Silent Night's a beautiful colorway. All right, over into the semi-solids. Feelin Jelly. Then we got that brand new one, the new semi-solid, Electric Blue. It's just really a bright, vibrant blue. And I honestly think this is what we were missing from our line. I tried dark blue to try and get it this vibrant, and it just didn't go. This electric blue is exactly where it needs to be. Beside that, we've got teal. And you can kind of see Feelin Jelly's got a little bit of that teal look to it, a little bit of that electric blue to it, and some of that baby blue to it. It really does. Any three of those blues would just pair in really nicely. If you want to match up into the white, we of course have Ecru Undyed. It's a great selection to go with pretty much anything. And Midnight. Where would a blue set be without Midnight? Beautiful. Finally, we've got Dark Gray. Probably one of the first times I haven't pushed over into the charcoal. Charcoal would go great in here as well as a nice contrast. But I feel the Dark Gray kind of hits up that Midnight, and it really just pulls everything together. Really does. So Feelin Jelly in all four of our weights. We've got the fingering, the DK, the worsted, and the chunky side by side. A little bit of a different angle here. We can see the fingering, not quite as much of the white. Of course, swatch available. Every single listing on the website. Generally the last photo. Big reveal. My little jelly friend. All right. Thank you everybody for stopping by. We'll see you again next time.